Okay, we're starting out with a lot of drop frames. Hello and welcome to part 4 of Pixels Plays Persona 5 Royal, and once we're in the green, do I need to freaking close Google Chrome? I may need to close Google Chrome. I don't usually have to do this when I'm just using Elgato. I usually close Google Chrome when I'm like running a game, obviously, but like when I'm just streaming something, I usually don't have to. And I'm still dropping frames. What the hell? Like, it should not be stealing any processing power or bandwidth. Okay, here we go. Close that. Okay. What the hell? Okay, there we go. It's green. Finally. Okay. So again, welcome to Pixels Plays Persona 5 Golden. Again, at this rate, what the hell? It's dropping frames again. I don't understand you at all. Let's just go to console capture. Maybe that scene will work better. I don't know. Do I need to just restart the entire frickin' screen? I mean, I can stop and then restart. It will, on the VOD, it will just probably, if I do it quickly enough, it will just resume. Okay. We're still like getting... Okay. It seems to have cleared it up. And it's probably stopped and restarted fastly enough to... and make it a separate video, so... Where did those guys go who were locked up go? They probably got moved to another location. But where and why? Don't ask me. But there were soldiers around, right? Like, we should try eavesdropping on them. I see that from the shoulders. The soldiers outside. We might be able to learn something from them.
What's this?
I don't know. You tell me. There should still be soldiers outside. Let's take note of the situation and get out there. Well, I thought I heard something move over there. Guess it was my imagination. One of the slaves. They're all in the trading hall. I assume they're screaming in pain by now. Very well. By the way, I heard we may have intruders around. Stay on your guard. No, I started streaming my ear. What the hell? I'm dropping frames again? I swear I'm not downloading anything. I'm not. I have very little going on in the way of like other applications. I have Microsoft Word. I don't think that should be taking up so much memory to bottleneck rendering. So the only thing that could be left over is just my ISP being shitty. It's the only thing I can think of is my ISP is being unreliable and it's dropping frames. Or something going on YouTube and or Restream and or Twitch's end. Although I don't know if that would be, I'd be able to pick that up on uh, uh, OBS's end. Now it's green again. Well, one thing I will say about the voice acting is that I really don't like that it's inconsistent. Like, I understand, like, having NPCs and such not be voice acted fully, but having, like, characters that are, like, ordinarily voice acted suddenly not be voice acted during certain sequences. Granted, it is consistent in the way that in the way that, like, it's they're only really voice acted during significant cutscenes. And granted, it's still, you have the actors, but still the actors are paid usually by the hour. So I don't know. I mean, I guess my point still stands that voice acting costs money and whatever. Anyway, there could be a little bit of it seems rather consistent now. So right now I'm thinking of I've been thinking about what I'm going to potentially use my stimulus check on. I should be arriving in a couple weeks, maybe now. So I'm an American. I'm afraid of American. I'm afraid of the world. I'm afraid I can't help it. Um, but anyway, we're getting a stimulus check due to the Voldemort virus thing. So like $1,200, and I've been assembling a list of things that I might be getting with it. Most of it's going to be either directly or indirectly for this channel. I'd argue, like, of the 6 things I'm thinking of getting, half of them are like very directly for this channel specifically. I'm going to get potentially an Elgato light air LED, a key light air LED panel. It's about $130. We're getting a AverMedia Live Gamer Ultra, which is about $200. And be getting a third multimedia storage tower from Solder. Because I already have 2, and I have a whole lot of DVDs and Blu-rays, and of course video games. So I'm thinking a third. I have enough room for a third one. I did like the measurements. So I'm thinking that a third one's going to be just enough to like get all of the rest of my Blu-rays and DVDs with room to spare. Like it's crazy to believe I had enough space. Granted, a lot of the stuff is inherited from my parents, who like for stuff they upgraded to Blu-ray. I got the DVDs as hand-me-downs. Now we're entering a phase where they're getting things in 4K, and I get the Blu-rays as hand-me-downs, but that may not or may not be the case per se for everything. But anyway, and then I'm going to potentially get Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition, which will potentially be for the sister channel, Pixels Roleplays, which I haven't really done. I'm not sure I've done anything with it, actually. I may have uploaded one video to it, like a couple of years ago, explaining the campaign setting, or introducing the campaign setting. I'm not sure I uploaded it to that channel or a different channel. But anyway, Um, I'm either gonna get a Live Gamer Ultra or potentially a uh, Elgato S Plus. But from what I've read, the Avermedia is better, just in general. Basically, the advantages of that are going to be that I can output 4K at HDR. Um, and for right now, HDR is going to be the main thing that I can, pass through basically. Um, it's interesting that there are there's like one model that's a bit cheaper that can pass through 4K, but it can't pass through HDR. And I'm like, why? Like, 4K and HDR are kind of a bundle deal. And at least for like me having a PS4 base model, it can output HDR. So, it can't output 4K, but it can output HDR. So, with what I have right now, HDR is slightly more important than 4K. But, of course, 4K is going to be a good future-proofing thing. Because, we're going to be having next-gen console coming out either the holidays or either fall or spring next year. That's a whole other subject, but just my thoughts is that either next gen console could potentially be realistically delayed until spring of next year, and actually it would be somewhat beneficial for me because basically my original plan for next gen console was to get a PlayStation 5 through a catalog ordering company that does like payments. Called Fingerhut, and they're basically just a state away from me. So that's where I got my Switch Pro controller. So it's effectively like it's effectively like Amazon. But right now it's faster than Amazon. But they have like quality shipping, and it's like a state away. It's like one state away. So usually it will get here 3 days tops, so 3 to 4 days. The only problem is that if there are indeed shortages, I may not be able to get it. But I did get my PlayStation 4 for Fingerhut back in the day, so and then I get that. I get whatever accessories I feel I need. And I get deferred billing, which should make it so that I don't have to pay until hopefully around March, or start making payments until about around March, and I'll just use a good chunk of my tax return, or which usually comes in around March, depending on how quickly we get to it, and how quickly it gets processed, obviously. But anyway, I would just, it costs a little more even forgetting about interest. Usually there is like a sort of added, $100 or so to the price just to be able to get it now and pay for it later. Which is why I actually kind of, in a way, hope for the consoles to be delayed until the spring, March-ish launch, and then that's because that's also like when a lot of people are getting tax returns, if they are getting returns at all, which I usually do. If I ever reach a point where I actually can declare myself as self-employed, I, which will hopefully be a year or two from now. I don't know. Like, my channel has been growing very, very slowly. I've been doing this for 3 years, but anyway, at least on YouTube. On Twitch, I've been doing it for about a year. But anyway, uh, I could just use. In the case of it coming out in March, I'd just be able to potentially use my tax return directly to buy it, and still get it in a timely fashion. Um, anyway, and also like Switch kind of prove that you can do a spring launch and it will still be successful. So anyway, the one other thing I'm thinking of getting is a portable external SSD drive. That'll cost me about $300, and basically that'll be roughly 2/3 of my uh, uh, stimulus check will be going to this stuff. Um, I'm hoping that the key light will help with this. Like right now, it is not quite so, because I'm black and white and high contrast. Even then, you can still kind of tell that my face is a bit overexposed. But yeah. And hopefully I could get the key light will hopefully allow a good balance of. That's probably the thing I kind of most need at the moment is a key light. Something made for streaming, made ideally for green screen as well. Hopefully I can work out how to position it and make it like work properly, and then work out how to deal with the green screen, and then things will be looking a bit more professional in general. Anyway, that's a long digression there, but I tend to do that. Did you hear that? It said train hall, right?
Let's go.
It's just a little further ahead, something. I don't get them.
There's a guard on duty here.
And suddenly there's freaking voice acting.
The way to the training hall should be just beyond those bars.
So what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Do we gotta fight it?
Seems like it.
Just don't let it notice you beforehand.
If it does,
The palace's security level will rise.
Spotted by an enemy, the security level will rise. Shown on the gauge at the upper left. The security level rises, it will become more and more difficult to investigate the palace, so be careful.
What do we do if that happens? Run away?
well, the security
The
level
security level will go back down and we can beat more enemies without getting noticed.
That sounds complicated.
Fine.
I'll
Put together some info
about the security level.
Crucial to
Crucial to
palace
successful palace infiltration.
So make sure you actually read it, okay?
read it, okay?
There we go.
Persona!
No weaknesses that we can exploit anyway. Oh, we don't have the gun thing yet, even though we got a gun.
A spectacular victory!
All right.
Handheld's up ahead, right? It's a little further. Make sure you watch out for the guards along the way. I don't know if we have any actual stealth
What's this?
mechanics yet.
Have you seen anyone who looks like an intruder? Nobody yet.
Yeah, it's really inconsistent whether or not there's voice acting.
I had a feeling there would be a lot of enemies. It would be impossible to dodge all of them.
Then what do we do? Should we try and take him down like before?
It's not that simple.
It's not that
We
simple.
still have a
We
long
still
way
have
to
a
go,
long
so
way
we
to
should be
go, so
conserving
we should be
energy.
conserving energy.
I see. Sorry.
Damn it. I wish I could fight.
Wish I could fight.
At least be able to help
out a little bit.
All I got is
All I got is this toy from earlier.
Such a loser.
Such a loser.
Do you mean that
Do you
gun?
mean that gun?
Looks real and all,
Looks
but
real and all, but
doesn't shoot anything.
doesn't shoot anything.
You see it.
You see it.
Well, there is a
Well,
way.
there is a way.
Okay, we get to realization.
We'll use that to
We'll
take
use
down the
that to
enemies.
take down the enemies.
What? Will you listen to me?
We listen,
Don't even shoot
pellets.
Don't worry. I'm
Don't
sure
worry,
this will
I'm
work.
sure this will work.
Attack away,
Attack
frizzy
away,
hair.
frizzy hair.
Leave it to me.
I keep saying it's not gonna fire anything.
Ready?
Point it at a shadow
Point
and
it at a
fire.
shadow and fire.
Gun attack, consider a gun skill. Press up on the D-pad to ready your gun, then X to attack. You continue shooting until you run out of ammunition. You can change between shots with left and right.
How about that?
How about that?
Surprise.
Surprise.
Plenty of instances
Plenty of instances where rapid fire is going to be more useful than swinging your knife.
Of course, you can
Of course,
run out
you
of
can
ammo.
run out of ammo,
Using it all
but
up
using it all up does more good than letting it collect dust.
Also, that's something that's always kind of bothered me a little bit is how does it run out of ammo? Guns have a higher attack power than melee weapons, but they have a limited amount of ammunition. Heavy ammunition will be stored after the battle, so feel free to use it up. Yeah, this is a bit of I don't know. Literal narrative dissonance, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what else to call it. You know, you know, there's this idea which will be explained a little bit more later that the guns work because this is a place of this is the realm of the mind. So like the belief that it's real or the fact that it looks real creates sort of like creates an expectation, I guess, to some extent from the enemies, I suppose, that it's real and it's shooting real bullets. Like we know that it's not real. We can believe in the sense that it can work, and that is reinforced by the fact that it does work. But it may even be the belief of the enemies that it's real that causes it to be functional. And I suppose you could argue it's the belief that it's the common knowledge, because like the enemies are sort of the product of both the consciousness of the owner of the palace, or something like that, and to some other extent, the consciousness of the world in a way. So it could be that like the knowledge that weapons have limited ammunition limits the amount of ammunition that we actually have. So I don't know. We could circumvent this by having like fairly realistic guns that have like actual like ammo cartridge props, maybe. I don't know if such things exist, because I believe what we have is airsoft guns or something like that, or just like replica guns. So I don't know if they would include ammo cartridges. An ammo cartridge, like fake ammo cartridge mechanism. I mean, I imagine some gun enthusiasts or fake gun collectors would want one that actually has like a ejectable, for their role playing of using a gun or whatever. So you get like 2 cartridges and just like literally swap between them every time you run out of ammo. Because the enemies wouldn't know that like this is actually an expended ammo cartridge that, they wouldn't necessarily be keeping track of the fact that this is the ammo cartridge that we just used up. Initially, we put the expended cartridge in our pocket and then took it back out. That could be, we could have a ton of ammo cartridges in our pocket, for all they know. But I'm kind of overthinking it, and maybe that's the intent. If I'm really looking at it, is that like the knowledge of gun nuts everywhere would realize how much ammo is in the gun unless we are able to actually like simulate or mime or pantomime in some way reloading the weapon. We can't. And the reason why the ammo resets for each encounter is because we're facing a different set of shadows or whatever, who don't know how much ammunition we just used on the other enemies. So yeah, I guess when I think of it that way, it makes some degree of sense, I suppose. I'm not sure I ever thought about it like quite that far, but I guess that's kind of the logic. I don't think they explain it that well per se, but like it does. I mean, granted, Kamoshida probably doesn't know that much about guns. But again, you could explain, well, there's some bleed through of the overall collective unconscious, and the knowledge possessed therein of how much ammo this weapon is capable of holding. And again, unless we have some means of miming reloading, we have limited ammunition. Anyway, I'm gonna be just repeating this whole argument over and over again until I'm satisfied that I've stated it correctly. Let's just move on.
I'll show you my weapon too.
For real? For real?
Is that toy gun just shoot real freaking bullets? Hey, this is an M-rated game. You can say whatever the heck you want. Whatever the heck you freaking want. This is a cognitive world. As long as our opponent sees it as real, it becomes such. It's a good thing it's realistic looking. I don't get it. Because they recognize it as a gun, your ammo capacity is limited in battle. but enemies are expecting you to come at them with guns loaded, so your ammo's hey, that actually explains it very well. I think this might actually be better explained. Like, either in the new localization, or I wasn't paying attention in the original localization, or it may be that the makers of the game, like, heard a bunch of stuff, like, on Twitter or whatever, about, like, how this doesn't make sense, or, like, well, you know, they had it in their heads how it would make sense, and they just didn't put it in the script, and they go, okay, we'll put the freaking explanation in the script, in Royal. I don't know. Like, I'm guessing, because I distinctly remember being a little confused by how they explained it. But again, I may not have been fully paying attention to the script, so, like, yeah. So ammo is replenished in every new fight. So yeah, it is literally just what we were talking, or what I was talking about. There's nobody in the chat responding to me right now. I'm so sad. What's the point? Okay. Let's have fun playing the game. And talking about it to myself. Hope that someone eventually will find it and enjoy it. Anyway, yeah, everyone's worked to use combat double guns loaded, so ammo is replenished in every new fight. So, it'll be interesting to see if they have anything like ammo cartridges later in the game as like a mechanic. But again, you're going in, like, as I said, you'd be going into a thing of wouldn't you be able to cycle ammo cartridges? You just get 2 ammo cartridges and just put one in your pocket, take out the second one, or even just take out the ammo cartridge, put it in your pocket, mind pulling out a second one, and reload. Like, it would take a turn, basically, or something like that to do that. Maybe if you're going to have some penalty for it, you know, like, have, like, a reload command, and then just, that be your turn to reload, and then there'd be a little bit of balance there, but at the same time it would still kind of defeat the purpose of the limited ammunition. So you'd have to argue that getting a second clip just gives you a second clip. That enemies are somehow preternaturally aware, or whatever the heck the term would be, you know, of the fact that it's impossible to really trick them into thinking that you have a second ammo cartridge when you don't. What's the commotion over here? Why, you bastards! Get ready, here comes another one. Take him down. Also, why did the voice acting stop? Like, seriously, this kind of bothers me. I thought all ammo had returned for that fight. Wasn't sure whether or not to bring it at first, but I'm sure glad I did. We're definitely lucky to have an additional firearm in our arsenal. I must say, well done, even if it was just dumb luck that worked here. Although I also have to ask, how the heck does his slingshot work? Like, seriously. In terms of limited ammunition. Because guns have clips. What does a slingshot have? Like, seriously. What does a slingshot have? A slingshot doesn't have a clip. And how would his pellets rejuvenate at each new battle? I mean, granted, there are things about Morgana that we'll learn later that could further explain this, but there's still plot holes here that we need to address. Because where does this ammo come from? I mean, like, I hope you get what I'm talking about. But like, a fake gun is shooting, bullets based upon the expectation that this is a real gun because it looks real, and the shadows are projecting that reality, and it their minds, the consciousness of the shadows or whatever are making it real. So with that, and it's also again sort of a knowledge of like how many bullets a gun should realistically have that limits the ammunition, but a slingshot does not have a standard ammunition limit. Like, does Morgana have a bag, and then the shadows like see the bag of ammunition? They're estimating like how many pebbles or whatever the heck are in there, and that makes the number of pebbles replenish each battle. Like how, I don't know. I get overthinking this terribly, but like literally all Morgana needs is a larger bag of pebbles or whatever. I forget what they call slingshot ammunition. I had to get my D&D player's handbook. This is bothering me too. A poison snake. It is actually called a poisonous snake in the monster thing. Basically a venomous snake, but as many fans have equipment. Okay. A sling just says ammunition. Okay. Sling bullets. They're just called bullets. So sling bullets. They come in packs of 20. For free. So I guess they're just called bullets. So I mean, either way, it uses bullets. But but anyway, like whatever like container he uses for his sling bullets, wouldn't he just get a bigger bag and he can increase his ammunition? Or whatever, like whatever. I'm overthinking it. Clearly, I'm overthinking it, but again, this is a. And I should really call it detrimental realism because it's probably more selective realism, which I think is a new term in my repertoire. So there's like at least three categories of realism, or things that I refer to as like realism in games. One is detrimental realism. One is supplemental realism. Detrimental realism takes away from the experience, at least more than it adds. Supplemental realism is something that enhances the experience, even if it does take away a little bit. Maybe it's a net positive, basically, to borrow a term from War Runner. It adds more than it takes away. Then there is selective realism, which is a broader term, but it's where the realism, whether or not is supplemental or detrimental, is notably inconsistent, or doesn't necessarily make it may make sense for some things more than others, I guess, in this case. Like, the rationale behind the guns and why they have limited ammunition makes a certain degree of sense within the rules of the world that's being established. But it makes sense for a gun, but it doesn't make sense for a slingshot. It is what I'm arguing here. So they're basically just, the game designers are effectively just assuming that we're going to buy the idea that a slingshot would operate by the same rules a gun does in this world. And I guess the problem is that slingshots aren't necessarily like a standard model, and most people don't use slingshots. So if we're going off of the idea that this is based upon the collective unconscious, Union collective unconscious, then there'd probably be a lot less information out there about like the ammo capacity of a slingshot. Like, what would be the expectation of a Shadow for how many slingshot bullets they would have? What would it be based on? Like, just have a big pouch full of marbles or something, and and the expectation that it would you increase your ammunition that way. Like the biggest bag of, like, just take my dice bag here. Okay, Morgan, take my dice bag here with a friggin' feather stuck to the bottom of it. For one of Ellie's toys. Just carry this with you, like, start to your belt, and pretend that this is your your bullets, and you have like 100 or so of these, like dice in there. You can carry a ton of slingshot bullets in this huge pouch. Like, they're roughly the size of a D20. They'd be, oh my god, this guy's having all these, slingshot bullets. Like, they probably wouldn't be able to count or comprehend exactly how many there were. Like, there'd probably be at least enough to last you for a round of combat. So you basically have infinite slingshot ammo. For all intents and purposes. Which would break the game. And Ellie, no! Dang, I shouldn't have taken this thing out. Now she wants to stick her head in there. Hey, Ellie. I'm sorry I tempted you. Can you ever forgive me? Okay. Quit griping, Blondie. You're still not getting praised. Oh, by the way, we should decide how we divvy up our roles in battle from here on out. As you can see, there are quite a lot of enemies. It'll be important to coordinate our moves well. I can keep providing intel for us, but you should decide how we fight, Frizzy here. What do you mean by how we fight? Basically what we do in battle. Yeah, I already figured that out on my own. Ellie? You can't get in there. Silly girl. You're distracting me from my game. If you're gonna distract me, you should distract the entire internet by getting up here. Or let us decide what we do. I guess I'm the only other one type fighting right now. Yeah, we already know that. We already figured that out on our own.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
What's the plan? Want me following orders or acting on my own? Okay.
Yep.
So I can change it, apparently. Pay for... Play for Turbo Scratcher or something. Hey, I can't hide around corners now. I should have just used Garu on them. Next time I run into them, I need to use Garu and see if I can. Either kill them immediately or we'll. I'm at 14%, so I really need to introduce the proper stealth mechanics already.
I'm pretty sure that's where we need to be going to.
Take it down again?
I guess that's the only choice. Wait. This might be a good time. Okay, I've decided. I'm gonna teach you a special way to fight enemies.
Is it a new technique?
Something like that. Let's go. There's a distinct flow to that. Seeing is something.
Okay.
First, knock down all the enemies. Everything starts at that crucial step.
Persona! You're mine.
Now rush on in for all out attack.
But okay. A little overkill. Aren't we supposed to bargain with them?
Really well.
So this tutorialization is voice acted. Again, this is really what bugs me. Is that like it's so inconsistent. either voice act everything or voice act very particular things. Like, they're just randomly deciding, okay, this part's voice acted, this part isn't. Like, it has to be particular types of things that aren't voice acted. Don't just... Like, okay, major story cutscenes. Voice acted. I get that. Stuff other than major important cutscenes. I get that not being voice acted. But this is... Like, the last tutorialization about, like, bullets and such, right immediately after the battle, was not fully voice acted. But this one, for some reason, is fully voice acted. Why? Like, I'm not complaining that it's voice acted, I'm complaining that the previous one wasn't voice acted. Make up your mind, are you going to have full voice acting for every line, or aren't you? All I'm asking is that the voice acting be consistently presented. Like, I'm not even saying, like, do it all or don't do it at all. I'm just saying, like, when you design the game, when you budget the voice acting, and where it's going to be used and where isn't going to be used, lay down the rules ahead of time for where there's going to be voice acting and where there isn't going to be. Because otherwise it's just going to be like, feel really weird jumping between, okay, there's voice acting here, but there isn't there. Like, it bugs people like me, basically, because I tend to just notice and think about things like this. Maybe that everyone is, I realize that everyone is like me, but it's those little things that, like, you know,
manage to knock all the enemies down, you might be able to use it to beat them all at once.
That was over quick.
It's a concentrated attack on defenseless enemies, after all.
I'd rather have less voice acting in the game. Like, have this just be not voice acted at all, than have it being as inconsistent as it is. If you're gonna cut corners of voice acting, cut the same corners every time.
Now, as I mentioned before, I want you to be the head of our command. You can decide when we use this.
Alright.
Strike the enemy's weakness, knock them all down, then do an all-out attack. That's the ideal pattern.
I mean, I guess there's some, for people who are actually, like, visually impaired, and there are two who are simply visually impaired, not blind. Like, my mom would be one of them. Fortunately for her, she's not really that into video games, so, in part because of her visual impairment, but, you know, there are people who can kind of live with, who, like, I imagine there are some people who are legally blind, who, just really get, you know, who have something like what she has, which is, you know, gradual, if it's optic atrophy or something like that, I can't remember what the exact term is, but basically, you know, that the nerves in your eyes are sort of gradually die over time or whatever, so your vision gets progressively worse as years go on. And of course you can adjust to it somewhat, you know, and cope with your vision becoming increasingly blurry. But you know, the thing is, if you can't actually like really read or make out a text at a certain point, then having voice acting really helps with that. So I think the logic here is because they're really talking a lot about how, like, this is a raw tutorialization here. So you're actually talking about the mechanics of the game and how to employ them. Whereas before was just mostly exposition about how it works rather than how to use it. So I think that's the rationale behind this being voice acted and the previous one not being voice acted. You know, is that this is important for people who are visually impaired to know. Whereas, like, knowing the logic behind ammunition replenishing is less important than knowing that ammunition replenishes with each new battle, which is something they explained out loud. Still bugs me, though.
What's this?
Is there any sheenings? Nope. Hey, Ellie. Are you gonna lay on that, but I just can keep on bunting my arm? I'm licking my hand. Alright, this is it. Can I shoot a training hall of love? What kind of bullshit is this? Training hall of love.
Yeah.
What? This voice, where does it come from? Ellie? Where the heck did my cap go? Did you knock it over? Knocked it over. Well, you're knocking over the bottle, so. There we go. Let's go for over there. It's no use!
If we stay obedient, we won't be executed like you guys. You're telling me you want to stay in a place like this?
Wait a minute. Were you planning on taking these guys out of here?
We can't just leave him here.
How stupid can you be?
What?
These are only humans in Kamoshida's cognition. They aren't real humans that entered from reality. They are different from you two.
Cognition?
In Ryuji's defense, this is all sorts of weird and conventional logic is not quite at play here.
It means there's no point in saving them. They're different from the real ones in the real world. You could say that these are extremely similar looking dolls.
How's it gonna be so complicated?
It's not that complicated, they're just representations of things going on in reality.
So the school's a castle, and the students are slaves. It's so on point that it makes me laugh. This really is that asshole's head.
This is horrible. It must mean he treats them as slaves in the real world too.
World 2? Wait. I know these guys. They're members of the volleyball team. The one Kamoshida coaches for.
They must be physically abused every day. There's no way they'd be so beat up normally.
Don't tell me they're going through similar shit in reality?
Most likely. I mean, this proves that Kamoshida thinks of them as slaves.
So it might be for real. I heard that Kamoshida's using physical punishment. They're just rumors. But if they're true, wouldn't this be something to report to the police? We'll use these guys as evidence. If it all goes well, we can take down that asshole Kamoshida. It's not working. We can use the navigation app, but the camera's a no-go?
A navigation app?
That's what we used to come here. What about yours?
Huh? My camera app won't open.
Whatever you do is fine, but we're gonna get caught if we stand around like this. We need to head back.
I don't know. I think it'd be a little more. I don't know, just kind of realistic in a way, anyway, or just practical. I don't know what the heck I describe it as, but like it would make a bit more sense if you tried to film it with your camera and it just came out of static. Like you just saw like a glitchy mess of whatever on your screen when you're trying to film it. Like I think that would be a bit more interesting, I guess, narratively speaking, than just like, oh, your phone's broken and you can't use anything except for the navigation app. Like, it makes sense in a way that you can only use your navigation app and you can't use anything else, but I think it just would have been more interesting if, like, oh, I'm going to film it, and then, like, it holds up, and then, like, I'm just seeing weird, garbled static, you know?
Hang on a sec. There's no other way. I'll just memorize their faces before going home. Let's go.
Okay, let's check the cells around here. Water! Please, no more! Like, even apple with water, even for the tough trade, is a common thing in the real world, too. That sack of shit, I'm gonna try memorize all this guy's faces before we go back. Okay, I'm done. Let's check and see if there's any more. Why you guys are here, but just leave us alone. We're talking about, you're seriously okay with this? This guy, there's no point in trying to talk to him. Okay, there's like a pot, or a kettle. It's calling the pot black. Oh, God! It hurts! It hurts!
Come on, man.
The hell? This ain't trade at all, it's just violence. It means it's been doing some similar reality too, right? Damn that bastard. Hurry it up. I know, just give me a sec, I'll memorize them quick. Are you done yet? We're cutting it close here. Don't freak me out like that, you gosh dang moron. What's like, got all of them. Stop wasting time, we need to scram. What are you here for again? I want people to glare at me like, say, G to you, don't drag me into your mess. It don't matter, you seriously don't care about getting treated like shit? I guess there's any point in saying any of this. Dally, will you hurry out here as fast as we can? Let's kick catch me the gingerbread man. Oh, we need to get out of here quick.
Let's go. Let's go.
Alright, we're back. We gotta get out of here quick. The watch post near the trading hut has ceased reporting. As if it's true right there, they're shooting high. All personnel increase security measures. Stay here too long. Come on, let's get out of here. It's this way. Let's hurry.
The school ain't your castle. Memorized their faces real good. You're going down. It's true when they say barking dogs seldom bite. How far the star runner of the track team has fallen. The hell are you getting at? I speak of the track trainer. New islands and extreme. Oh, I can only imagine the feelings of the others who dragged under with your selfish act. What a surprise. So you're accompanying him without knowing anything at all. He betrayed his teammates and crushed their hopes. Yet he still carries on free as ever. That's not true! What a tragedy. You blindly trusted this fool. He's led you right to your death. Hurry up and dispose of them. You can't stand the stench. Damn it.
Ryuji, move! We're surrounded!
I'll kill you, Kashina told us. I'll kill, that's what he wants. It's tough. You're mine.
There's more of them? This is bad. Failure!
Okay, the game is cheating again. Well, actually, that's the first time the game is really cheating, but...
I bet you simply came here on a whim and ended up like this. Isn't that right? No. What a piece of trash. Getting emotional so quickly. How dare you raise your hand at me? Though it was only temporary. Have you forgotten my kindness in supervising track practice? It wasn't no practice. It was physical abuse. You just didn't like our team. Eyesore. The only one who achieve results is me. The coach who got fired is hopeless too. Have you not opposed me with a sound argument? Settled it with only breaking the star's leg. What? Do you need me to deal with your other leg too? The school will call it self-defense anyway. Damn it. Gonna lose again? Not only can we not run anymore. The track team is gone too because of this asshole.
So that's why.
Once these two are dealt with, you're next.
Ryuji!
Stand up for yourself.
Right. The thing that was important to me was taken Because they sided with trash like you. No, that's what you are. All you think about is using people. You're the real scumbag, Kamoshida. What are you doing? Silence him! Stop looking down on me! Put that stupid smile on your face! You made me wait quite a while. You seek power. The next woman since your name is disgraced already. Why not always be glad to make happy? The other is thus. I am thou. There is no turning back. The skull of your planet is henceforth. What can you do? Cover and watch. What's up, Persona? The second rocks. Now that I got this power, it's time for payback. Yo, I'm ready. Bring it! Blast him away! Captain Kidd! Kamoshida's cognition is changing, right? And I'll act like the troublemaker I am. Let's do this, Captain Kidd. Persona!
There you go. Gotta use the take out the weak ones first. Okay, there was it. It's gonna take me down in one hit the previous time, and now that's just kind of literal narrative dissonance. I'm probably gonna call it quits after the end of this day because I'm maybe hungry. Like I didn't really have much of a lunch and I had a fairly late supper, so I might need to have some kind of meal. I'm feeling kind of burpy and weird.
How about that?
Whoa. So Yuji had the potential too.
If you apologize now, I ain't forgiving you. I told you that this is my castle. Seems you still don't understand. Key.
Oh. What a beautiful girl.
What's going on?
What's going on?
I'm so jealous. Something seems off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now that you
now
mention
that
it.
you mention it.
But why is she even
Why
here?
is she even here?
Hey!
Hey!
Go over, you
Go over, you perv!
How many times must I tell you until you understand? This is my castle. A place in which I can do whatever I want. Everyone wishes to be loved by me. That is, everyone besides thieves like you. Takamaki, say something! Say something!
Calm down, Ryuji. It seems that girl isn't the real one. She's the same as those slaves. A being made from Kamoshida's cognition of her.
Are you jealous?
Well, I'm not surprised. Women aren't drawn to problematic kids like you.
Damn it!
Clean them up this instant.
We're outnumbered. Let's scram before we get surrounded.
That's free to free?
We're not gonna do anything.
Although some of these guys have like 2% inside them, but still. Or 2 shadows. We can't die here.
Thank God you've got a level head.
Fine.
We'll expose what you really are, no matter what.
But yeah, that's the weird.
Ready for us.
That's still weird. There's like literally 3 of them. And 3 of us. So you literally had to think of how these guys normally split up into different shadows inside of them. Or sub-shadows or whatever you want to call them. Like, they could have added like 1 or 2 more of these guards to... I mean, yeah, there's Kamoshida, but like, is he gonna fight us?
Ignore him. Let's go.
Anyways, I don't remember changing into this.
Good on you.
Should I be
Should I be happy about that?
Then again,
Then again,
it ain't as bad as
it ain't as
yours.
bad as yours.
Quiet.
So what's
So what's going on?
I'm completely lost, man.
man.
I told you before. When a person uses or opposes a palace's ruler and becomes a threat to them, this happens. It's to prevent me from being affected by distortions.
Is this a skull?
A skull?
Your appearance reflects your inner self. It's the rebel that slumbers within. Not that you'll get it.
Nope.
And stop asking questions and accept what you see for what it is.
You to say.
Wait,
Wait,
we're in deep shit.
I said to be quiet.
We might have gotten away here, but we're still screwed with Kamoshida at the real school.
That's quite sharp of you for being an idiot. Relax. The Kamoshida in reality can't possibly know about what happens here. A shadow is the true self that is suppressed. A side of one's personality they don't want to see.
So we're okay?
We're okay?
Did the Kamoshida in reality remember about the execution? There you have it.
All right.
Now
Now
that we know that, all we gotta do is...
Wait. I guided you as promised. It's your turn to cooperate with me. That's why I was super nice about teaching you idiots everything.
Huh?
Cooperate?
Don't you remember? I originally came here for an investigation. I need to erase the distortion from my body and regain my real form. That's why we must delve deep into mementos and
Whoa, hold up. What are you going on and on about? We never said anything about helping you out.
Don't tell me. Are you not going to repay the hospitality I showed you? Especially you. You're going to up and leave, even though you're already part of my master plan?
You didn't tell me about your master plans originally. What plan?
Is it because I'm not human? Because I'm like a cat? Is that why you're making a fool of me?
No, I'm just saying what plan.
We're busy. Thanks for everything, cat. Yeah, Gatsby the cat and all. See you around.
Hey! What the hell? Seriously? Why are you running like everything's all hunky-dory? Oh, hell no! Get back here!
Welcome back to the real world.
Thank God. We're back. Dragged you around a lot, huh? Sorry, man. I'm dead tired. How you holding up?
I'm fine.
That's impressive. I'm exhausted. You know you can keep track. But damn. What we saw was for real? Oh, this is gonna get good. I totally remember the faces of the guys Kamoshida was treating like slaves. Once we make him fess up to any physical abuse, Kamoshida will be done.
I think it's not gonna be as simple.
So, wanna help me look for this guys or any witnesses?
Sure. You're gonna make me do it anyway.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Hey, so if you're thinking of laying low because you got a record, I don't think that'll help. Everyone already knows. Totally got you pegged as a criminal.
How'd that happen?
Kamoshida opened his damn mouth.
Seriously?
No one else besides a teacher could have leaked it that fast. Doesn't matter if it's a student or a club. That asshole just writes things he doesn't agree with. Just like he did with me. No one will take anything I say seriously. Still, those rumors about him getting physical might be real. And after seeing Kamoshida's distorted heart thing in person, there's no way I can just sit back.
Of course.
I'm counting on you. Don't worry, I'm hyped about this too.
Except a bond of trust coming from Ryuji.
Acting as a phantom thief would have been more efficient alone. You could have gone about it that way.
However, you did not.
There are merits to having associates.
That's what you
decided.
Am I wrong?
I am thou. Thou art I. Thou hast acquired a new vow. It shall become the wings of rebellion that breaketh thy chains of captivity. With the birth of a chariot persona, I have obtained the wings of blessing that shall lead to freedom and new power.
This is new. Are you tired of
Alright.
lots of chariot confidant?
Right. I haven't eaten anything since lunch. It'd be weird splitting off now. So why don't we grab a bite somewhere?
Sure.
Just follow me. totally gotta hear about your past. What? The hell, man? How much shittier can that asshole get?
I'm still eating. Don't talk about shit.
Hearing your story makes me angry. So you left your hometown and you're living here now, huh? Might be more alike than I originally thought.
That's a little weird. I don't know. I'm referring to the sign in the lower left corner that was normally blocked out by the character portrait. So, not to be bad, but I was thinking about how sharp the like the stuff in the background is, and it's so the stuff that's in the foreground is like. What did you do? You need to be right. Yeah, like right down there. It looks like really blurry. Like that should be the opposite.
I guess it's how we're treated like a pain in the ass by the people around us. Like we don't belong.
Kind of might be one of the people who actually noticed that, but.
I did something stupid.
It's like really pixelated and.
The place you're living now is in Yonge, right? It's rush hour on the subway. I suggest you kill some time before heading home. What the hell, man? You barely touched your food. Just let me do it. Thank you for helping me. Anyways, I got your back and you got mine from tomorrow on. As long as we do something about Kamoshida, I'm sure we'll both feel better about being at school. Oh yeah. Tell me your number. Chat IT2.
The shut is not available to you. You now occasionally receive messages from those close to you.
We're gonna start right away tomorrow. First, let's hit up those guys that we kept as slaves. The volleyball rally's tomorrow, huh? She's recommended by Kamoshida. Gets me to gag. But thanks to that, we got no classes in the afternoon. We can walk around unnoticed. Well, I guess we can work out the details tomorrow. Come on, you gotta eat more. There's tons of ginger here. So, help this plan to take down Kamoshida.
You're being too loud.
Right.
Hey, it's what's his nose? Meanwhile,
I haven't been sleeping well lately. Whenever I close my eyes, I keep thinking about too many things. Shio. Nationals are coming up soon. So I keep thinking, should someone like me be on the starting lineup? Don't worry. Just be confident in yourself. Your skills have been recognized. It's all because you work harder than anyone else. Yeah. Volleyball's all I have after all. More importantly, was that injury okay? It looked really swollen. No, it's nothing. It's normal. Especially since the meet's coming up.
Sorry to interrupt, Suzui. Mr. Kamoshida told me to get you.
Huh? What does he want?
He didn't say.
It'll be fine. I bet it's a meeting about the starting lineup or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I better go.
I better go.
Yep.
Yep.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Hang in there,
Hang in
She-Hulk.
there, She-Hulk.
You're home. You're home.
I take it you
actually went to school today?
Of course.
I guess you learned
your lesson after what happened yesterday.
As long as you're not getting into
trouble, that's fine by me.
I don't know what you've been up to,
But trust me, you'll be gone if you start causing problems.
In case you forgot,
Your life is not a free one right now.
I decided to go ahead and message you. Can you see this? Nope. I'll say yep. I could mess around and say no, but we're like, hey, wait. I'm gonna be counting on you tomorrow, okay? Got it. You're a bro, man. Hope see you tomorrow. Let's save those guys who've been getting abused. You and me. Oh, that's weird with how you have to press the button twice to progress it. Kind of weird.
Are you even
Listening to me?
Just stay away
from bad influences, okay? Hey,
I'm gonna head home
for the night.
I'll lock the store.
I'll lock the store up.
Don't go
wandering out.
Our box set from back home. There's some extra clothes and daily necessities inside. Receive DLC. Got Starlight outfit, Starlight glove, Ultramarine outfit, long nose outfit, Warden baton, Featherman suit, feather cape, Monica head, Monica suit, Monica device, tracksuit, new cinema outfit, camera strap, Saint Hermelin high, Seven Sister slide, like a Khan high, Yastagami high, say Hermelin badge, Seven Emblem C's armband, Team glasses, Kozaka high is probably going all the way like back to the old personas. Samurai garb, Oron high, Maka head, Maka suit, arm PC, gauntlet, Kazu Noha tubes, the Maka device, swimsuit maid uniform, Ultramarine outfit, new cinema outfit, dance wear, Warden's baton, camera strap, midnight bandana, shirt ops uniform, summer uniform, winter uniform, summer clothes, winter clothes, Rin's one piece, Featherman suit, Christmas outfit, evoker, Ham's pillow, feather cape, soul food times 1, cinema times 1, bottle of white times 3, bead times 10, soul food times 10, bottle of white times 5, homunculus times 5, multi cocktail times 5, super free spray times 5, air cannon times 5, stun gun times 5, 10 lockpicks, 5 healing 4s, stamina kit 5, homunculus times 5, protein times 10, bionutrients times 5, black rock times 4, blank cards times 3, and 100,000 yen, which is about $100, I think. And that's about $1,000. Yeah, it'd be about $1,000. So that's my stimulus check. Received Persona 5 save data special gift. Okay, here's our special gift for beating Persona 5 original. A Hug Yoku apple and a Band-Ace and $500. So they get about half of the DLC. Okay. Save is a different button. It's not in the menu. It's been about an hour and a half. Okay, we'll go to Wall Patrons. I might try to stream more during the day tomorrow. So we have empty wall patrons to get Patreon.com place. Again, I still need to update it, but maybe I'll try and do that tomorrow. I don't know. Okay, but anyway, that's a bunch of little things you can do that will take a few seconds of your time. There's a Minecraft run you can check out. I've done quite a bit of work there in terms of flattening terrain. I think it's more or less done for the moment. Probably not going to be building anything myself in the near future, so leave it up to the community to work that out. There's plenty of space near the spawn point to build whatever your heart might desire. I think the only thing that's really left is to sort of get a bunch of things like moved and stored from all the terraforming I've been doing. But anyway, thanks once again to producer Eric McMahon, and as always, thanks for watching. Until next time, sign off.